Fat Buddhist Jesus here. Someone called me that once, so I like that. I want to take that.
Well, I think a fair question for Jesse would be: is your beard beta?
Hell no.
They called you God, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, that's a good question. You know, we were talking about beta and alpha males before. Jesus kind of fits the characteristics of a beta male, wouldn't you say?
No, because don't remember he went after
Didn't
the
he
bikers.
trash the money? Didn't he like destroy the temple?
Oh
just
my
because
God,
they were.
You're right.
I think he's alpha.
He also said rich
total
people.
alpha.
I think he's
Rich
alpha
people
when it
ain't
comes
got
to
no hope.
If matters on his dad, he's alpha.
Although he had his chance to, you know, and he didn't.
Huh, that's interesting.
That's
for video.
Mm.
It's not letting me use my. I use this app on my iPad that links to my Mac, and it works for Zoom, but it doesn't work for. It doesn't work for. Apparently, it's not working for Discord. That's weird.
Oh, weird.
Open the app on my iPad, and it links to Zoom as soon as I open Zoom, and it just seamlessly integrates like that, and it like over the internet. But it's not even appearing as a video device right now.
Okay.
Let me see if I can
Travis,
consult the internet.
So,
right.
Okay.
How's everybody doing tonight? Haven't seen you guys for a while.
Doing good. How are
Very
you doing?
good.
Oh, you know how I be. I'm wearing my Yeah Science shirt with Jesse Pinkman on it,
Yay.
which I'm really excited about.
That shirt is so beta, Michaela. Voice of Mace Starwalk. No,
Hey,
I don't.
today I learned how to choke a guy out with his own collar, so
Nice.
Nice.
Yikes.
I'm like practicing
like
on
nice.
the grappling dummy, and my dog is like
Fucking
laying on the
badass.
dummy. I'm like,
You
dude,
learn to stroke a guy out. What?
Wow, I just came to check that we're still good. But
Yeah. We're
oh my goodness.
we're ready to go, man.
Yeah, don't mind the retard.
Can you remind us? Can you remind us what your name is, brother? In front of you, you don't want to be coming up with your question when I call on you. That would be great. But yeah, I'm excited to be doing these again. We are recording now, and I just wanted to welcome you guys to the Pangburn Q&A, Pangburn subscriber Q&A with Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm really excited. When Jesse joins us, we'll get going. Mods, if you guys see anyone while we're engaging with this in the Discord wondering why they can't get into the room, just let me know, or you can just give them the subscriber privilege. It may be because they're a brand new subscriber, but feel free to hand that out. Dave, did you get that?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay, yeah.
So nobody's in their 20s, no?
I'm 25. I'm pretty sure Dave is
I
like
gotta
a
give,
teenager still.
I got to give Alexander some.
I'm 20.
access
I'm
here.
20.
I love triangles.
Alexander,
I'm playing
why can't I
with
get...
magnets. They're so fun.
Magnets.
Um,
Magnets are fun.
Dude, they're magic. They're fucking magic. How do they work? It's crazy.
Quantum
Trying to
fields,
find
man.
Where's your Fanta at?
Quantum, something, quantum, incorrect use of quantum. I have no idea what quantum actually means.
yeah, the quantum of the quantum.
Fuck. If he's a scientist, we're all fucking. I quit.
He's a scientist. We're all scientists.
Everyone's a scientist.
Everyone's a scientist.
Yeah, you go to wisdomofchopra.com. They just take words that he says and jumble them up, and it makes a Deepak Chopra quote. So I just
It's like a bot.
Yeah, it's a bot that just makes it like you can't tell if it's. There's also like try to see if you can tell if it's Deepak Chopra or like just the generated quote. Like
Okay.
here's one. If I
Do you know what would be-
information ends immortal fulfillment.
It's so good.
Look, I have to say that if Deepak Chopra is making a poetic, artistic, a poem about a reality, and then I'm okay with that. But yeah, okay, we got Jesse Lee Peterson. How's it going, Jesse?
Yes.
It's good to have you back.
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's good to see you. You're looking good. You're looking fresh. You got your blue shirt on.
Amazing.
Can you see me?
I can.
I have my Canadian toque on. Peace.
Right on.
Yeah.
Is it cold up there?
Not too bad. Not too bad. About where I'm about 2 degrees here right now. So, yeah. We have some.
Black people can't handle the cold.
Yeah, I think that's generally true. Although Toronto, Canada has a large population, it's much colder there than it is here in Vancouver.
Really?
Yeah. So they do just fine, man. You throw the scarf on, you throw a sweater on, anything's possible.
Amazing.
Jesse,
that's right.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Pangburn Q&A. Basically, what's going to happen here, I'm going to try to get through as many questions as possible within the hour that people have a chance to engage with you. You should be able to see some of their videos and some. Let's start with Villain. Villain, how's it going, brother? Maybe Villain's
your thinking process. My question for you is, as a general question to Christians, why put your faith in Jesus? What makes you feel like that's what's the reason for Jesus rather than just another religion?
Well, you don't have to put your faith in Jesus if you don't want to. You could suffer and just live in darkness all your life. It's really up to you. But if you want to have an amazing life and have a free life, a peaceful life, then you need to have faith in God. Our faith is not in Jesus. Our faith is in God. Jesus is his son. And when we believe the son, we believe it into the Father. So our faith is only in God and not in Jesus.
So I'll follow up. I guess what I mean is, why do you find it reasonable to follow Jesus? What makes you, where's the reason to do that? Is it in the historicity that you believe in, or is it in a personal revelation that you feel, or why do you think it's rational to put your faith in Jesus?
Because we live by faith, and whether you know it or not, or realize it or not, you either you believe in the lie or you believe in.
Jesse, my question, quick one at you. The happiest moment in your life, tell us about it.
When I hear and see.
Have you experienced that a lot, or is it very rare?
It's happening more now than it was a couple of years ago. More and more men and women are starting to wake up around the world. So it's happening a lot right now.
Okay, I want to jump to Eliyahu. Eliyahu, you're up.
Hi, Jesse.
Hey, Eliyahu.
How does the Bible or your Christianity influence your politics? How do you use your religion to make a decision about abortion or about gay marriage or about drugs or any of the political issues? Because I don't think that all of those questions are in there.
Well, when I was in a fallen state, when I had anger, and anyone who has anger is in darkness and they cannot see. So when I was in anger, then I couldn't see, and I would accept all wrong things as a right thing because I couldn't see that they were wrong. I just felt, whatever you want to do, do it. But then when I woke up, when I was able to overcome the fallen state, I am now able to see, and I can see the things that are wrong and the things that are right. But once I used to be a liberal, so I understand how liberal people feel, that they literally cannot see because they have anger. But I hadn't read the platform of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. So once I woke up, I read the platform and I noticed that the Democratic Party is anti-God, anti-family, anti-man, anti-unborn. They have Satan as their daddy. And so I could no longer identify with that because my values changed. So then I read the platform of the Republican Party, And the platform is for God, family, country, constitution, freedom. And so that's why I became a Republican.
Does that answer your question there?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I want to jump up to Michaela. Michaela, it's your turn.
Hi there, Jesse.
Hey, Michaela, how are you?
Oh, you know, I guess my question is, I don't know a single young lady my age, 25, single young lady in my generation, really, who hasn't been physically or sexually assaulted by men. So to hear you say that, like, women are, like, evil until they return to the men, I mean...
Until they return to the Father. Satan is a woman's God.
Satan is not my God, and I'm a woman, and I'm an atheist.
Well, Satan is your daddy, whether you realize it or not. And this idea that all the women that you know have been sexually abused, I don't believe that at all, because most women today are sluts, and they hate men. They hate men, and so they go to the slut maker. And when they get what they want from the slut maker, the men are slut makers and women are sluts. And so I find it hard to believe that.
Just to clarify, Jesse,
and I've never had sex with anyone and never wanted to. So for you to sit here and say that I'm a slut because I'm
so if you haven't had sex yet, you're not a. If you haven't had sex out of wedlock, you're not a slut. But if you have, then you're a slut.
Okay, that's the clarifier. We'll come back to Michaela. Interesting question. Good question. Let's go up to Dal Sue. How's it going, Dal Sue?
Yeah, it was one.
Pretty good.
Yeah, how's it going, brother? I can see you up there.
Very interesting to listen to. Jesse, is it possible for someone to come out of darkness into the light but see a different truth than what you do? Like, might they be able to disagree with your idea of the light?
Well, no, it's not possible, because if you come out, when you're in darkness, Satan is your daddy. And when you come out of the light, when you come out of darkness into the light, God is your daddy. He's your father. And so we become family, spiritual family members. And God is not going to allow you to see different things. The Father will take care of you, so you see everything as I do.
Do you have a follow up there, Dal?
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, let's. I want to jump to Metalworks. Metalworks, you're up, brother.
Oh, jeez.
Metalwork, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. You know, you seem like a really nice guy, man, and I was told by Travis, a lot of people do mistreat you badly and kind of look down on you, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, I don't care about that at all. I really don't care what people think or say or believe about me, because I love what's right. I love all people, and it's up to them if they want to be of love. They can be of love or of anger. That's up to them.
And I think you can do that. I just don't know if you do really need to believe in God or not to do that, but
there's no other way to do it.
I understand what you're saying. You know, the problem is that people, they have to understand that there's just going to be people that they can't just agree on certain things. And
right. And that's fine. You have a right to be wrong or be right. It's really up to you. And that's why we shouldn't hold grudges against anyone.
I agree with you, man.
Do you have anger?
Like any normal person, yeah, but I try to get away from it. I don't hold on to it.
So you do have anger?
Yeah, and I get through it.
Do you know that any male that has anger is a woman?
I think I've heard you talked about this before.
It's abnormal for a male to have anger. That's the nature of a woman. And men are logical, women are illogical. And so when you return to when women return to their father, they then return to a logical mindset.
Well, can I ask you this? Do you ever feel anger?
No, not at all.
I do, but I know better not to, indulge it and let go of it.
But you can't help it. The only way you got to overcome it, you got to have to overcome your mother. She has recreated you in her image. You got to return to your father.
Metal, do you think that's an accurate analysis of your life, like that your mom has created you in some way? No. So what would you?
No.
How did you become angry?
Well, no, I just experience anger like any normal person.
How did you become you were not born with anger. How did you become angry if it wasn't from your mother?
Well, I think it was from my parents fighting all the time and my brother not being a very nice person.
It was from your parent doing what?
From fighting all the time.
What did that have to do with you?
Well, I always thought it was my fault.
And why did you think that?
Because I didn't want them to fight.
Why not?
Because it was awful. They weren't just like, yelling. They were yelling and screaming and
that would be
always threatening to divorce, always threatening to walk away from each other, just not agreeing on things. Both of them acting very stupid and selfish.
Well, that would be because your father couldn't deal with your mother. Your mother is not a nice person, and and we become attracted to what we hate. Your father hated his mother. He ended up marrying his mother, and he didn't know how to deal with her in the right way. Yeah, you can find that because men who are like that, they have their mother's identity. They have been turned away from their father, and he provide for them. And when the man comes, let's say that the man is out working, he come home in the afternoon, at night, it's his role to check on his children to be sure that the mother treated them in the right way, that she wasn't impatient with them, that she wasn't emotional and angry, or tried to turn them away from him.
Am I allowed to ask a follow-up?
Yeah, do a follow-up for sure.
So based on the way you described that, especially I like that phrasing you used of the woman and mother being like a vice president of the home. Compared to what you were saying earlier about the flaws that she would inherently have in your view, that seems like a lot of authority to give her over the children.
What do you mean authority?
It seems, I guess the part I'm not understanding and that seems incongruous to me is that if in your view the mother has all these flaws and this anger and such that she has to deal with, why would you want that kind of person watching the children through the day while the father's at work? That seems like more child time than you would want a problematic person to have.
That's a good question. That's why when you're dating, you shouldn't have sex. The man and woman should not have sex until they get married, because while dating, you can get to see what type of woman she is, and she can see what type of man he is. And then if you see that she has anger or he has it, you would try to get those things resolved before marriage. But most people don't do that because they have sex before marriage and they don't see what they're getting into until the morning after the night of. They realize they married the wrong person, because a man should not marry a woman who has anger. She would not, and a woman should not marry a man who has anger, because that relationship will not work.
That makes sense. That clarifies well.
Okay, great. Let's jump down to Zombie Kill a Chick, practicing mother.
Practicing mother, and obviously in that respect, then a proud slut. But hi, Jesse. I don't really know who you are. Can you tell me about yourself? I've never heard of you before. I'm sorry.
I am founder and president of a nonprofit organization called Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. And we are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. We're pointing men back to God so that when they do start a family, the family has a chance to last forever. And we show them how to overcome anger by encouraging them to go and forgive their mothers for turning them away from their fathers, or imposing her will upon them, recreating them in her image. And then we encourage them to go to the father and forgive the father for not protecting them from the mother, because the fathers are married to their mothers and they don't know how to deal with the woman. And once they do that, they wake up, they become free, then they can lead their own life. God will guide them in the right way to go. We also have, we tutor, we counsel, best counseling service on this side of heaven. We have an entrepreneur academy. I started this academy to help men with their business.
Back to Michaela. Michaela, do you have any follow-ups for Jesse? Any further questions?
So it seems to me what I'm getting from this is just pure claim vomit. Like you're just saying one thing after another. Like it's your boilerplate, right? Like you're used to saying it. Kind of, you probably, I mean, obviously I don't know for sure, but you probably just say this stuff more or less automatically at this point.
So what specifically?
How do you back any of these things up? Like saying that, like what you just said about being loved by the mother, those people become drug addicts. What?
They become angry. They blame others for their problems.
I'm hearing you, but you're just making more claims. Like, can we get some substantiation of your many claims?
I just gave you some.
Like what he's basing. So Michaela's asking, just what are you basing all of this insight on, Jesse? Is it your conviction to God reveals this to you, or?
Well, I've counseled with people for the last 30 years around the world, and 99.999% of the men and women who are not happy resent their mothers, and they have their mother's identity. And so once they forgive their mothers for turning them away from the father or impose her will, then forgive their fathers, they become peaceful in life. They can now deal with life because the anger that they had disappear, and now they have peace. It's a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle. You would not be able to understand that until you get to know yourself. If you want to know if you want to know yourself, if you want to know if it's true or not, get to know yourself, and you do not know yourself.
But you don't know anything about me. How can you even say that?
I know that if you knew yourself, you wouldn't be asking these type of questions.
I wouldn't have a sound.
You are blind and cannot see.
Because I'm asking for evidence?
Right, like because if you were able to see, you wouldn't ask for evidence. You would already see the evidence.
Because I don't blindly accept.
I'm telling you, get to know yourself, and you will see if what I'm saying is true or not.
So I have gotten to know myself, and I see that it's not true.
And what have you discovered about yourself?
That I am actually a good person.
What makes you good?
I love my friends. I do things to cheer people up. I'm a writer. I talk about things that other people can't talk about. I empower my friends to do the same. And I think that,
as a matter of fact, it proves that you're not a good person because you're trying to please others to feel good about yourself.
That is not what I said.
That is what you said.
No.
Okay, well, we'll come back.
You didn't say it exactly like that, but everything you named is all ego to make you feel good about being wrong.
Okay,
you have no love.
We'll come back to
that's pretty harsh, but
we'll come back to Michaela versus Jesse in just a moment. I want to jump to back to Dave. Dave, I think it looks like we have about a half hour left. Dave,
and they let the so-called civil rights leaders become their head, and the civil rights leaders sold them over to the government, and it's just been downhill ever since. And so I've noticed that white people build and people of color destroy. I don't know anywhere in this country where the people of color have made it better.
So then what are you doing leading anyone if all people of color do is destroy?
I don't lead anyone. I point them back to the source that's in them, which is God, so that God can lead them. Then they cannot be deceived by other human beings.
But if all you're capable of doing is destroying, seems it seems like your life bears witness against this point that you're trying to make.
You mean my life personally?
What other life is there?
Are you saying my life or all black people?
Well, you are making these blanket statements about all black people. You are black.
Treating all people the way that I would like to be treated, and loving God with all my heart, soul, and might. When I was a liberal, I still wasn't as destructive.
Statistics show that
crime rate is.
Crime is everywhere, man. Be not deceived.
Well, crime
Now, I
usually is
do
not
want to
in
tell you.
affluent areas.
How about you answer
I
the
do
question
want
that
to
you actually
tell
asked?
you that before the civil rights movement, that was a beautiful place. It changed after the civil rights movement started. The woman became the head of the family. The men left or just gave up, and everything went out of control. So it was, when I first moved to LA, it was amazing. But it's not like that anymore.
So real quick, you said that is it your position that a woman cannot love? Did I catch that correctly?
Women don't have love. Women receive love.
So can a mother not love her children then? Is that your position?
Only if she grew up close to her father. And so she has the father's love, then she can love her children with the father's love. But women, and the reason for that, the God above is the man's God, and the God below is the woman's God. And so it's the man's responsibility, because he is a son of God, to bring her out of that hell that she's in.
So you're saying that when a woman is loving her children, she's actually channeling the love of her father, even if he's dead. It's his love.
Yeah, because
right?
She has his nature, and then when she get married, her husband has perfect love as well. So she's still under her husband, receiving that love that's being passed on to the children. Emotional love is not love.
Okay, so what love are you talking about then? Because when I'm talking about love, I'm talking about the commitment to somebody else's well-being to the point where you are willing to detriment yourself. So your love for your children, your spouse, your family, your country, you're willing to sacrifice in order to facilitate the well-being of that other entity. That's what describes love for me.
Well, that love comes from God through the man. And that your first commitment is to God. And then you would treat all people, including your wife and children, in the way that you're being treated by God, with perfect love.
But it seems to me that women can also exhibit that property. They can also commit themselves to the well-being of, for example, their children. I've seen many mothers sacrifice greatly. And if that's the definition of love, then they are, in fact, exhibiting.
That's not the definition of love. The government will do that for you. But if I'm telling you once again that if they grew up as little girls close to their father, they've not been turned away from the father, then they will grow up in perfect love. And when they get married, they would marry a man who is like the father, perfect love, right? And then they would be able to love their children with the right kind of love, and there wouldn't be these issues that we have in families now.
So are you saying that all love originates with God the Father, and that men and women channel God's love to other entities on earth?
If they have returned to the Father, absolutely.
So your position is that both men and women can love, but the love is actually the love of the Father, the God in heaven, essentially, is the source of all love.
If it's from God, which is not emotional love, absolutely. If a woman, let's say that a woman had become like her mother, she can't, she has that anger, she's overreacting, she's insecure. If she went and forgave her mother, hey, mother, I'm sorry for hating you, for being impatient with me, or imposing your will, or trying to control my life, I realize now that you couldn't help it. If she going to say, hey, I'm sorry for hating you for that, then God will forgive her and return her to his love, which was her nature before she was spiritually traumatized by her mother. Then she can love as well. And it's not her love, but it's God's love operating through her.
Okay, good questions, Dave. I want to go to Metal. I said I'd give you a moment here, Metal. And then after Metal, I want to give Bruno an option.
All right. Now, I want to apologize earlier. I'm sorry for that outburst. I was multitasking, and
you have anger. That's why.
Well, because I have a lot of issues with comedy.
I tell you, just like a female, any man that has anger, any male that has anger,
he's the bearded lady.
Amazing.
But
go ahead, Metal.
So the thing I'm going to ask is so what is proof to you? If I like said if I showed you there's a box over there and you saw it, you would say there's a box over there, right?
Right.
Now, what if I said, a government institution said there's a box downtown? Would you believe it, or would you not trust it because it's from the government?
I would wait and see. If I wanted to check it out, see if it's true, I would go and check it out. I wouldn't believe it just because they said it.
Is it because it's from the government, or just because someone said it in general?
Because someone said it, period.
Okay. Now,
you always have a wait and see attitude about all things, because until you see it for yourself, you don't know if it's real or not.
So
wait
if I
and
was
see
to show
if
you,
you're smarter than me.
Hold on a minute.
Let me finish here. So let's say if I showed you like, some researchers did research looking at like, oh, here's a large influx of immigrants. A lot of them make a lot of money. They keep going to high-end fields, and they make more money than white people. And most white people are poor, because this is a more majority white person country. So yeah, it would make sense. The majority would be white people. But it's still strange that so many immigrants, the majority of them come here, seem to do pretty well. So especially when some stats show that when they're like from poor countries, like Africa or something.
Yeah, Metal, what you're kind of getting at.
They do pretty well, but even if they aren't doing like even if the African isn't like working in like a science field, if he like a taxi cab driver, he's doing well because he's not part of the culture around here, the black culture around here that seems to have a victim culture that sets itself up for failure. So when you say immigrants are coming in here, possibly destroying, I see the opposite on some of them when they come here legitimately. They don't come here illegally.
Yeah, so are some immigrants doing good things for the country, Jesse?
Is he talking about illegal aliens or those who are coming in?
No, legally, not illegal.
What I've noticed up until lately, is that most of the legal immigrants and even the illegal aliens, at one time when they came into this country, they would work hard, they would save their monies, they would use it in the right way. But now that the government is offering them free stuff, most of the illegals and some of the legal ones too are coming in just for the government handouts. And so they're not coming in working hard and doing what they need to do to make it in this country, because the government is setting them up to use them to get a vote, especially the Democratic government.
Why do most of the legal ones that come here do pretty well, though, financially?
Because they tend to come and work very hard. They get an education. They work hard. But even those that come here and work hard, the ones who are not working hard and making it their own way in life are jealous of them, and they would go after those type of people.
Okay, Metal, I want to jump to Villain. Villain, I want to give you another crack here. Do you have another question for Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse, I have a quick one and then a follow-up on my previous. Are there any Christian sects or Christian leaders that you agree with and that align with your philosophy, or are you a lone wolf?
Over the years, I've met a couple that agrees with it, but most don't, because they're intellectuals and they cannot see. They have studied the Bible, and the Bible has made their ego feel like they know God. And they really don't. They know about him, but they don't know him, because intellectually they're blind and can't see.
Then I have to follow up my previous question earlier. I'm going to try to rephrase it. I've met people from different religions all over the world that kind of give the same testimony as you do, that it's just true and I can see it and you can't. So when a Muslim tells me that, and a Buddhist tells me that, and a Hindu tells me that, and different people tell me that.
Sorry, guys. Zombie, can you mute, please?
Cell phone in it for me.
I'm just gonna give her a server mute. Sorry, continue.
So Jesse, with that being said, all these people say that it's just true and I can see it and you can't. What could let you know?
You wouldn't know that.
You, Jesse Lee Peterson. If Jesse Lee Peterson was deceived, how would you know that?
If I were not seeking God to overcome that fallen state, I would not know that, because most people in darkness don't realize they cannot see. And the proof is to know that a person has returned to the Father, he or she has perfect love. And in perfect love, you can see where people are coming from, but they don't know that you can see them. And I have to tell you, Christianity is the best religion on this side of heaven. It's the greatest religion. It's an honor to be a Christian because Christianity is the only religion that I'm aware of that tells you that you have to overcome your fallen state. You must repent. You must forgive. And it renews your heart from hate to love.
All right. Thanks, Villain. We just have like a minute. So I want to ask Jesse a couple quick questions. Jesse, is it possible for God to reveal himself to you and to communicate with you?
Once you seek him, he will reveal himself to you, and he's inside of you. He's above, but he's inside of you as well.
Now, would God be able to actually communicate with you to, let's say, to give you a new commandment or to give you a new rule for living?
Well, I don't know what you mean by new rules.
Well, let's say can God reveal himself before you and tell you need to do something? Let's just say a life mission.
God is God. He can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
But once you return to him, he will reveal your talent or your purpose in life. He would naturally give that to you.
Okay.
And you would naturally live it.
So now here's where I have a problem, Jesse, with what you believe God can do. Because what if something you believe to be God showed up before you and told you that you had to go and kill a child for him, like in the Abraham story? Would you follow God's wishes and commands to do that, or would you what would you use to differentiate between God and not just a hallucination?
Where are you getting that question from? That's not even your question implied that you don't know God.
No, it's because you said that God can reveal himself to you, right?
God can do whatever he wants. He's God. He created all things.
So if God told you, Jesse, to kill a child, like he did with Abraham, how are you going to keep yourself from killing the child if you actually believe it's God in front of you?
He would never tell me that.
I know that's the common answer to that question.
Because your question doesn't even make sense.
I know.
You're asking a question out of darkness, and it doesn't make sense.
He told it to Abraham, though.
We have the Abrahamic example.
But where's Abraham now?
Well, at the last second, God said, "No, I was just testing you."
Where's Abraham now?
Can you just answer the question that's being asked instead of obfuscating and deflecting?
Where's Abraham now?
No, it's a good question. Dead. Abraham, as far as I know, the character of Abraham, whether he existed or not, is either dead or...
I rest my case.
He dead.
He dead.
Isn't he also in heaven now?
How is that an answer? That's
you guys,
not an answer.
I think there's... I know. We are out of time, though. Jesse has been through the gauntlet here. We need to... I really appreciate you coming, Jesse.
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
Check us out at rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or what is the other one? Oh yeah, JesseLeePeterson.com. All right, check us out. It was amazing.
Well, thank you.
And I'm glad to talk to all of you today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to you and to all your staff, too. Peace.
Yes, sir.
And thank you guys very much.
It was fun.
Yeah.